I was blessed to be able to receive tickets from a company that I do content for. So it all worked out, and just being again back to having the opportunity to go. Like we didn't have those type of opportunities to go, so we're going to be joyous and ecstatic, of course, to be able to go to something like that. So
Yeah. And I think they're really fun. Like, that's something that we kind of talked about a couple episodes ago, is like doing new things and always, getting outside of your comfort zone and outside of your bubble. And I feel like the last couple of weeks, we've really been doing that. And it's just been so much fun because, again, I kind of like see the world with like, psychology or marketing perspective, but it's just interesting to one, get to experience new things. But I feel like every place that you go to, you learn something either about yourself. You can apply it to life. You can apply it to entrepreneurship. Like there's always something to learn from every single space and activity. But
yeah, for sure.
anyways, let's get into these questions. So the first question was, how do I know if I'm ready to start a business?
I think the most important thing is understanding that, and business could mean profit, nonprofit too, as well. So it's not always about making money. The importance of understanding that you need to have a business is because of the stuff that you're producing or the services you're providing. That's when you understand, like, all right, what the request that I'm receiving is business like, so maybe I should set up a business. Maybe I should actually think about doing this long term, because that's the whole point of setting up a business is, all right, if you know that's something that's profitable or non-profitable, you have a product or a service that you want to create long term or that you want to do for long term, that's when you're like, all right, this needs to be a business.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like you want to find something that people want to demand for, right? Because it's actually something that I was thinking about on the way to the office too when I was driving. And this is where I mean, like sometimes, as a creative or like in life, you get these thoughts and they just come to you randomly. But I was thinking about that on the way to the office today, how a business is really just creating demand. So if you find like in your city or in the market that there's something that people want and need from you, correct, like once you make that decision, hey, maybe this is something I want to do long term, and you want to make some money off of it, you have to decide if that's something that you want to do long term for yourself. Because correct, you could do it for somebody else or another company, but I think that
you don't have to have a business.
Yeah, I think the important that the factor that makes you, one, know that you're ready to start a business is that, one, you know that there's something that people want, and two, you know that you're ready to charge money for. Because even when I talk to my family and I'm like, oh, you should start this as a business, like you said, some people want to do it, but maybe they don't want to charge for it because for some reason they just see it as a hobby, or they just see it as a passion of theirs, or they're like, oh, this is just like a side hustle, or
those folks don't start a business,
or some or some people, and this is why, like I said, that there's so many perspectives on how you can look at it. Because for some people, I've heard it's like they don't want to turn it into a business because that's like their sacred space, like that's like their sacred hobby, like that's like their safe piece.
I think that's bullshit, and I think it's because when you come with business, that means, oh, shit getting serious. And I think people are scared to get serious. I think that's what it is. I understand the keeping the peace and keeping that like to yourself and stuff like that. But I think people be really scared and nervous to actually jump that hurdle.
I think there's some truth to that. I think that, correct, fear holds us back from a lot of decisions because, again, this is not us judging anybody, or at least me criticizing anybody, but I'm
judging. This is me judging.
But I've heard people that don't want to start a businesses, their number one fear is always, well, it doesn't make any money, or how am I going to make any money, or how am I going to be able to afford it, or they don't even believe in the idea that it could be a business. And that's why I said, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think that the number one way you're ready to start a business is when that mindset clicks. And you're like, hey, I want to charge money for this. Because a lot of, like I said...
That's what I'm saying. It don't have to be charging money, though. It's just...
But there can be a handful of people that just do something and they don't want to charge money. And they just want to do it as a hobby.
To me, at the end of the day, is...
That's not a business.
Exactly what you said is, do I want to do this long term? Do I see myself doing this long term? That's when the switch is like, all right, cool.
But correct, not always about profitability, but you want to do it for yourself to generate money for yourself.
Not necessarily, no.
Because you're not ready to start, well, then you're not ready to start a business then if you know you want to do something
Exactly.
long term, but you want to work with somebody else.
Exactly. That's perfectly fine. Remember that, what she just
But
said.
that doesn't answer the question.
No,
babe.
that does answer the question. That absolutely does. Because that's going to determine whether or not you do or not. Because if you want to do it long term, but you want to work for somebody else, or you want to keep it as a side hustle or a little hobby, don't start a business. Like keep it low level, keep it chill, keep it what they say.
That actually takes us what?
What's that called?
Well, that's a really good transition to the next question. The next question was, how do I choose the right business? Or sorry. The next question was, what are the first steps to launching a business with little to no money? Creating a social media, create a Facebook, create an Instagram.
If I would start over, it would be getting my LLC, tax ID, and business bank